My name is Rachel. I'm 52, a high school guidance counselor in Portland, Oregon, and I gave my best friend my kidney on a Tuesday in March. She uninvited me from her recovery party 3 weeks later via a group text I wasn't supposed to see. The thing about 30-year friendships is they collect weight like river stones, smooth on the surface, heavy enough to break glass if you finally decide to throw them. Sarah and I had been those stones for each other. College roommates turned lifelong constants. Bridesmaid at her wedding. She held my hand through my divorce. Our kids grew up calling each other's mothers by their first names, the way family does. When she called me at 11 p.m. on a January Sunday, her voice thin as paper, I already knew. Stage 4, she said. Kidneys are failing. I didn't think. I just said, test me. The testing took 6 weeks. Blood work every 4 days. Psychological evaluations. A 20-page questionnaire about my relationship with Sarah that felt like writing our biography. The transplant coordinator, a woman named Dr. Patel with kind eyes and efficient hands, asked me 3 separate times if I felt pressured. Sarah doesn't even know I'm doing this. I told her each time. That was true until it wasn't. Until the day Dr. Patel called Sarah into her office and told her they'd found a living donor match. Sarah's face when she realized it was me, I held onto that face like a photograph. Pure wonder, tears that meant something. You'd do this? She whispered. For me? The surgery was scheduled for March 17th, a Tuesday that arrived with unseasonable rain. I remember the anesthesiologist's warm hand on my shoulder. I remember Sarah in the bed next to mine in pre-op, reaching across the space between us. I can never repay this, she said. You don't repay love, I told her. That's not how it works. I woke up missing something and feeling whole anyway. They kept us 3 days. Sarah's room was down the hall, but I couldn't walk yet, and she was too fragile for visitors beyond her husband, Mark. The nurses brought me updates. She was responding well. The kidney was working. She was already talking about the future. On day 2, my daughter Emma came. She's 28, a graphic designer with her father's practicality and my stubborn heart. She sat beside my bed, arranging the flowers people had sent, and said, Mom, Sarah's been on her phone a lot. She's probably updating people, I said. Emma's silence lasted 3 seconds too long. Yeah, probably. I went home on day 4. Sarah went home on day 5. We texted that night, simple messages. How are you feeling? Did you sleep? Take your meds. Then the messages got less frequent. By week 2, I was texting into a void that occasionally responded with thumbs-up emojis. I wasn't supposed to be in that group text. Sarah's sister Jennifer had created it months ago for party planning. Sarah's 50th birthday, back when her kidneys were still failing, and parties felt like defiance. But the group text had evolved. After the transplant, it became Sarah's recovery celebration planning. I knew about the party. Sarah had mentioned it once, vaguely, still loopy on pain medication. When I'm better, we'll celebrate, she'd said. Everyone who helped. On April 8th, a Thursday afternoon while I was grading college recommendation letters, my phone buzzed. Jennifer had added me to the thread by accident. I watched the messages load, dozens of them, weeks of planning I'd never seen. April 24th is perfect. Let's do the backyard, string lights. Who's bringing what? Sarah wants it small. Just family and close friends. I scrolled up. Weeks of logistics, guest lists, menu debates. Then, from Sarah herself, dated March 28th, exactly 11 days after surgery. We need to keep the list tight. Mark's family, my family, the Hendersons, Dave and Lisa, the Changs. That's it. Someone had written back. What about Rachel? 3 hours passed in the thread before Sarah responded. Rachel's recovery is slower. I don't want her to feel pressured to come. Let's let her rest. Jennifer's message, the one that came 4 minutes later. Should we tell her about it? Sarah, I'll mention it if she asks. But honestly, I think it's better this way. Less complicated. My coffee had gone cold. Outside my office window, a cherry tree was dropping pink petals like snow. Less complicated. I set my phone face down and went back to grading. A student needed a letter for Stanford. She'd overcome foster care, 2 high schools, a mother who disappeared. I wrote about resilience, about people who keep showing up even when the world gives them every reason not to. I didn't know I was crying until a tear smudged the ink. That night, I did what you do when 30 years reveals itself as a lie. I went looking for the truth, not dramatically. Not throwing things or screaming into pillows. I just sat at my kitchen table with a cup of tea and let my memory unspool. Our college years, Sarah brilliant and magnetic, me quieter, steadier. The way people gravitated to her at parties, how she'd always pull me into the circle. "This is Rachel," she'd say. "She's the smartest person I know." It felt true then. Her wedding. I'd made her veil by hand. 60 hours of beadwork. She'd cried when she saw it. But in the photos, in the receiving line, how many times had she turned away mid-conversation with me when someone more important approached? My divorce. She'd been there, yes. But looking back, how many of those late-night calls had she cut short? How often had she said, "You deserve better," but never, "Here's what I can do to help." The small things assembled themselves. Birthday parties where I'd organized everything and she'd thanked everyone who made this happen, in a vague, sweeping gesture. Vacations she'd planned without asking if I was free. The way she'd introduce me to new friends. "This is Rachel. We've known each other forever," making history sound like obligation. I wasn't remembering wrong. I was finally remembering clearly. The kidney wasn't the first thing I'd given her. It was just the largest I didn't respond to the group text. Jennifer noticed eventually. 15 minutes later, a private message. "OMG, Rachel. I'm so sorry. You weren't supposed to see that. Please delete the thread." I deleted it. I didn't block Sarah. I didn't send angry paragraphs. I just stopped. Stopped texting first. Stopped asking how she felt. Stopped being available. For 3 days, nothing. Then Sarah sent, "Hey stranger, how are you feeling?" I wrote back 6 hours later, healing. "You so much better. Your kidney is a miracle worker, lol. Coffee soon?" When I'm feeling up to it, that was a Monday. By Wednesday, she'd sent 2 more messages. By Friday, she'd called 3 times. I let them go to voicemail. Her voice in the messages got progressively tighter, the lightness forced. "Hey, Rach, just checking in. Call me when you can. Rachel, are you okay? I'm worried. You're not responding." "Okay. I don't know what's going on, but we should talk. Call me, please." I didn't call. She showed up on a Saturday morning. I was pulling weeds in my front garden, the earth dark and cooperative under my fingers. She parked at the curb, got out slowly. Still careful of her incision, I noted distantly. "Rachel." I sat back on my heels, looked up. She was thinner, her hair longer than I'd seen it. My kidney was working well inside her. Her skin had color again. "Hey, Sarah. You've been avoiding me." I pulled another weed, shook the dirt from its roots. "I've been recovering. It's been 6 weeks. These things take time." She stepped onto the lawn, her sandals sinking slightly. "Did I do something? Because you're being weird and I don't understand why." I stood up, brushed my hands on my jeans, looked at her directly. "Are you having a party?" Her face did something complicated. "What?" "A recovery celebration. April 24th. String lights in your backyard." The color that had returned to her cheeks drained out. "How did you—" "Jennifer wasn't supposed to add you to that." "I know." The silence stretched. A car passed. Someone 2 houses down was mowing their lawn. "Rachel, I can explain." "Don't." That single word stopped her. I'd never used that tone with her before. Flat. Final. "You don't want me there?" I continued, my voice steady. "That's fine. Your party. Your choice." "It's not like that?" "Then what's it like, Sarah?" She looked away, looked back. "You're recovering too. I didn't want you to feel obligated. The party's going to be big, lots of people, and I thought it would be too much for you. You thought about me a lot for someone who hasn't asked how I'm doing in 3 weeks. That's not fair. I've been dealing with my own recovery, with my kidney." The words landed like stones. She flinched. "Sarah," I said, and I was surprised by how calm I felt. "I gave you an organ. You couldn't give me honesty. I am being honest. You told Jennifer it was less complicated without me." I saw the messages. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. Rachel, you're taking this out of context. What's the context where that's okay? She had no answer. The lawnmower droned on. A bee investigated a lavender plant near my porch. I think you should go, I said. Rachel, we've been friends for 30 years. I know. I was there. I turned back to my garden, knelt down, sank my fingers back into the dirt. After a moment, I heard her footsteps retreat. Heard her car door. Heard her drive away. I pulled weeds until my hands ached. She texted that night. I'm sorry. Can we please talk about this like adults? I wrote back, I'm not angry. I just need space. How much space? I don't know yet. The next morning, this is ridiculous. You're my best friend. I need you. I stared at that message for a long time. I need you, not I miss you. Not I was wrong. Need. I didn't respond. Mark called on Monday. Sarah's husband, who'd always been kind to me in that pleasant, distant way of a man who exists at the edges of his wife's friendships. Rachel, Sarah's really upset. I'm sorry to hear that. She says you won't talk to her. About some party misunderstanding? It's not a misunderstanding, Mark, but it's between Sarah and me. She's been crying. This is really affecting her recovery. Mark. My voice came out harder than I intended. Did Sarah tell you what happened? She said there was a mix-up with a group text. Did she tell you she didn't invite me to her recovery party? The party to celebrate surviving kidney failure? Silence on the line. Did she tell you she said having me there would be less complicated if I wasn't there? More silence. Mark, I love Sarah. I gave her my kidney. But I can't make her want me in her life. And I won't beg. He cleared his throat. Maybe you're both just stressed from the surgeries. Maybe. Or maybe 30 years doesn't mean what I thought it meant. I hung up gently. My hands were shaking. Emma came over that Wednesday with Thai food and fury. Sarah's been posting on Facebook about how hard recovery is. How she needs real friends around her right now. Don't, I said. Don't what? Don't defend me on there. Don't engage. This isn't your fight. Mom, she's being manipulative. I know. So why aren't you? Because I don't need to. Emma stared at me, pad thai suspended halfway to her mouth. Who are you and what have you done with my mother? I smiled despite myself. I'm still here. Just learning when to be quiet. Jennifer called Thursday morning. Rachel, I'm so sorry. I had no idea the messages would hurt you like this. Sarah's just... She's under a lot of stress. Jennifer, you don't need to apologize for your sister. I just think if you two talked... We did talk. She knows where I stand. But the party's this weekend and Sarah's making herself sick worrying about this. Then maybe she should have invited me in the first place. Jennifer sucked in a breath. That's kind of harsh, Rachel, is it? Tell me, Jennifer, if your sister needed a kidney and you gave her one, would you expect to be included in her celebration? She didn't answer. That's what I thought, I said softly. Enjoy the party. I mean that. April 24th arrived with clear skies. I spent it at the coast, an hour west, walking along Cannon Beach with my shoes in my hand and the Pacific cold against my ankles. My phone buzzed periodically. I didn't check it. I watched families build sandcastles, watched dogs chase waves, watched the light change from gold to rose to purple as the sun dropped toward the horizon. Around 6 p.m. I finally looked. 17 messages. 12 from numbers I didn't recognize. Sarah's relatives and friends, people weighing in, taking sides, asking me to reconsider. 3 from Sarah herself, escalating from apologetic to angry to desperate. The last one, sent 20 minutes ago. Everyone's asking where you are. This is embarrassing. You're making this about you when it should be about my recovery. I sat down on a piece of driftwood, the wood smooth and sun-warm beneath me, making this about me. I wrote back, my thumb steady on the screen. I gave you my kidney, Sarah. I have never made this about me. I'm not starting now. I hope your party is beautiful. I hope you're celebrating everything you survived. I'm just doing it somewhere else. I turned my phone off after that, stayed on the beach until the stars came out. Sarah sent a long email on April 27th. I read it once. Carefully, it was full of justifications. The party had been planned by others. She'd been on medication that clouded her judgment. She'd been protecting me from having to attend while still recovering. Everyone missed me. She missed me. She was sorry if I felt hurt, but I was overreacting. If I felt hurt, that phrase sat in my chest like a stone. I didn't respond. My principal, a woman named Diane who'd been through 2 divorces and a cancer scare, stopped by my office one afternoon in early May. "You're different lately," she said. "Bad different?" "No, clearer, like you've put something down." "I think I have," she nodded. "Good, we carry too much, women like us. We think love means bleeding." I thought about that for days. The letter I wrote but didn't send Dear Sarah. I've been trying to figure out what I want to say to you, and I think the truth is simpler than either of us wants it to be. I don't regret the kidney. I need you to know that. I would do it again, even knowing everything I know now, because that decision wasn't about earning your friendship or buying a place in your life. It was about love, the kind that doesn't keep receipts. But love also means seeing clearly, and I've been looking back at 30 years with new eyes. I think you loved me the way you loved a reliable sweater. Comfortable. Always there when you needed it. Easy to forget about until the weather changed. I think I loved you the way I loved sunlight. Essential. Orienting. Something I built my days around. Those are different things. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just finished. Finished trying to earn space in your life. Finished shrinking myself to fit in your margins. Finished believing that longevity equals importance. You gave me a gift by uninviting me from that party. You showed me the truth. And the truth, even when it hurts, is always better than the lie. I hope my kidney serves you well. I hope you live long and fully. I mean that. But I won't be there to watch. Rachel, I folded the letter and put it in my desk drawer. Some truths are for us alone. Summer came. I started painting again. Something I hadn't done since before my marriage fell apart. Watercolors mostly. Coastal landscapes. Abstract studies of light on water. Emma introduced me to her friends, and I realized I'd stopped making new ones years ago. Sarah had been enough. Except she hadn't been. I joined a book club. Started volunteering at a community garden on weekends. Went to dinner with other teachers. People I'd known professionally for years, but never personally. One evening in late June, having wine on Diane's back porch with 3 other women from school, someone asked how I was doing after the kidney donation. "Really well," I said. "The recovery was harder than I expected, but I feel strong now." "That was incredibly generous," one of them said. "Your friend must be so grateful." "I hope so," I said simply. Later, Diane walked me to my car. "You don't talk about her anymore, Sarah." "No." "Did she ever apologize?" "Really apologize?" "She tried. But she apologized for my feelings, not her choices. There's a difference." Diane hugged me, brief and firm. "Proud of you." "For what?" "For knowing you deserve better than crumbs." The day we saw each other again, it was September. The air had turned, that first edge of autumn sharp in the morning. I was at the farmer's market, buying tomatoes from a vendor I'd been going to for years, when I saw her, Sarah, across the market, laughing with someone I didn't recognize. She looked healthy, happy, glowing in a way she hadn't before the transplant. My kidney was working beautifully, I could see. Our eyes met across 2 rows of stalls. Her smile faltered. She raised a hand, tentative. I nodded once, turned back to the tomatoes. "These are perfect," I told the vendor. "I'll take 6. When I looked again, Sarah was gone. That night she texted, "I saw you today. You look good, thank you. So do you, I miss you." I stared at those 3 words. Once they would have cracked me open. Would have had me calling her, rebuilding bridges, accepting less than I deserved because 30 years felt too valuable to lose. Now they just felt sad. "I miss who I thought we were," I wrote back. "But I don't think that was ever real. That's not fair." "Maybe not, but it's honest." She didn't respond. I didn't expect her to. I'm 53 now, a year out from surgery. My scar has faded to a thin silver line along my left side. I trace it sometimes, in the shower, this map of what I gave away. People ask if I regret it. The answer is always no. But here's what I've learned. You can give someone everything and still not be enough for them. And that's not a reflection of what you gave. It's a reflection of what they can receive. Some people love like open hands. Some people love like closed fists. You can't make a closed fist into an open hand. You can only decide whether to keep offering yourself to something that can't hold you. I gave Sarah my kidney because I loved her. She uninvited me from her life because she didn't love me the same way. Both things can be true. Both things are true. The gift wasn't wasted. It kept her alive. But the friendship was already dead, and I'd been carrying the corpse for years, calling it love. Letting go wasn't betrayal. It was finally being honest. There's a difference between closure and peace. Closure is a door slamming. Peace is a door left unlocked that you simply choose not to walk through anymore. I have peace now. I have friendships that feel like equal exchange. I have mornings where I wake up and don't check my phone hoping for her name. I have a life that isn't organized around someone else's needs. And sometimes, late at night, I wonder if she thinks about me. If she understands yet what she lost. If my kidney reminds her, a constant presence, that love existed here even if she couldn't see it. But mostly, I don't wonder at all. Because here's the thing they don't tell you about letting go. It doesn't happen once. It happens daily, hourly sometimes. You choose it over and over. You choose yourself over and over. And eventually the choosing becomes habit, and the habit becomes peace. I don't know if Sarah ever understood why I walked away. I don't know if she tells people I abandoned her after the surgery, or if she's revised the story in her mind until she's the victim. It doesn't matter anymore. I know what happened. I know what I gave. I know what I'm worth. And I know that loving someone doesn't mean letting them diminish you. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever given everything to someone who couldn't see it, if you've ever had to choose yourself after years of choosing someone else, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below with your own story of letting go. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because these conversations matter. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from someone you love. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is walk toward yourself.